Yes, yes, yes. We glad to have you back around. My name is Kay. Of course, I got Kev and Alex, and this is the Biscayne Breakdown. How y'all doing this afternoon, fellas?
Excellent, man. It's been a minute. I'm glad to be back.
Blessed, blessed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Love to hear it. Glad to have y'all here. Shout out to our boy Deem. Of course, we always want to have Deem around. He was supposed to pop in, but had some things going on in life, so he couldn't make it today. But we're gonna try to hit y'all next Sunday following the Heat's comeback. That's something that I've been on. Speaking of, we're gonna try to hit y'all next Sunday after the 6 day layoff. Now, at first, it was a little confusing because I'm like, why do they have 6 days off? But then I looked at the schedule, them going to Mexico, and then you realize that the game we're about to hop right into, which is the Philly game, was the second night of a back-to-back. So considering all of that, you kind of understand it, but then it's still like, man, 6 whole days, like whole real figurative days before the Miami Heat play basketball again. Like, I mean, it's like you can't literally grasp it, and then even figuratively inside the schedule of an NBA season, it's like, how in the hell? So before we get into Philly, what you guys got on the 6 games, on the 6 days between Heat games, if it even mattered to you?
I love it. I think for this team, especially right now, get some rest, bro. Get back into that mindset. Go over the film. Whatever they need to do to just get right. 6 days is a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they get another break like this the rest of the season, but take full advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? Recalibrate, get in that lab, study as much film as possible, listen to what Spo is saying, and just take lessons from this last game and look at everything you've done wrong previously to get yourselves in this little drought and get back in that lab and get it all figured out. So I think this should benefit them greatly, in my opinion, especially with some of the injuries they've been dealing with recently.
What you got, Alex?
So I was listening to, I forget whatever pod I was listening to, and they talked about the fact that the 6 day break happened because like Shakira was supposed to have a concert like this week at the arena, but then like it sold out so fast, like that they canceled the concert for her to book a bigger venue. But by the time that they had done that, they had already put the NBA schedule out, so like they couldn't make it so that the Heat could have a game during this time. So that's how we ended up with this break. But like Kev said, I think it's good for the team, guys, with the little injuries and everything, get a little rest, and we get to practice probably a few times and change up some things to hopefully make some other things work better for us.
I haven't really considered it. That's a good piece of information that you brought to the table too about the Shakira situation. Hadn't heard that, but that's a good piece of information for the people and for us too. But at the same time, I hadn't really considered it. I guess from the perspective, of course, I'm thinking about it all, but I hadn't fully taken on the perspective that you and Kev took about just the guys getting healthy. You look at Jaime who missed last game, Terry and his foot, which we'll eventually get to at some point down the road. You can close your eyes a little bit. You can narrow your eyes a little bit, Alex. At some point, you know what I mean? We got a situation where this Miami Heat team, I've always believed that I like what I was seeing. Of course, we didn't like how it was finishing, and you could do that from a macro or a micro or macro perspective. Like for example, Jimmy Butler simply finished sequences in the Philly game again, which we're gonna get to. But just for them to get healthy, get in the lab, like you said, Alex, and look at some of the things that they've done well and some of the things that they've done bad. And of course, like you hit on Major League Kev, and to get healthy, I think that this might be good. This might be one of those, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say pivotal, only a sixth way through the season, but that is kind of a lot when you think about it too. Like this might be one of those moments where they can really capitalize on some things because, like, we've seen some good moments. You think about it, 3 games alone where they might have could have won those games and could have, would have, should have. This is the NBA, you either win or you lose. But what I'm saying is, those are things that this break might allow them to clean up. Those are things that this break might allow them to focus in on. Anything like that. Anybody got any last words or comments, feedback before we move on? Okay, well, moving right along from that, on that note, a 6 day layoff. We won't be back till Sunday, as we know that we'll try to hit you again following next Sunday's game with a full cast if we can. But the game they played heading into that break was a game against the Philadelphia 76ers. The currently 2-11 team meeting having Joel Embiid having been called out by Tyrese Maxey and Coach Me Harder, Nick Nurse pleasing Philadelphia 76ers. I just want to give you guys a full like understanding the foundation of who we talking about. Not that you guys need to do it for me because this is a Heat podcast. I was just saying, you know what I mean? Just want y'all to have all the information. Game started out kind of rocky. He went down. He came back. Full disclosure, I'm gonna let you guys have the floor here, but it was never in question for me. And not because I believe this Heat team is so good, it's just because this Philly team is so bad. And the Miami Heat have been shooting the ball too well this season. And Jimmy seemed a little aggressive. So I knew they would come back. Didn't say they would win in the comeback. I felt like they would, but I knew they would come back and make it a game. Alex, what was your take on what you saw? What was your reaction from the Philly game? Overall, the good, the bad, the ugly, what have you?
I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Well, like I said to y'all, I had my own game. I coach college basketball. So I literally caught the game when we was putting B to A. Like I joined in the third quarter. I'm like, oh snap. I'm like, yo, we getting after it. My team took a tough L last night, but I'm just like, all right, shoot. Well, at least the Heat winning. And my brother, he was at the game. My brother was just like, yo, like, we was getting whooped earlier. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, the Heat was looking bad earlier, but hey, they turned it around. So, and I ain't had time to watch the highlights today. So, yeah, I've been real busy today. So,
I got you.
No, absolutely. We're gonna let you go, Kev. But shout out to Alex and his situation. Alex them actually had a very heated loss based on what he was telling us. They came out sluggish, they came back in the middle, and they just couldn't pull it out in the end. From what he told us on the details, it reminded me of the Detroit game based on what he said from the Seekers. But shout out Shawan, man. Y'all gonna win some more games. Y'all clap back. Kev, what you got on this Philly game, man, for the Miami Heat?
Man, I was gonna say big time win, like Joe said yesterday, but it's Philly. And as you mentioned, they've been horrendous. But for right now, for this Heat team, we got to take wins how we can get them regardless. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, honestly, I'll be honest, like early on in that second quarter, I was like this close to turn the game off because I was so frustrated because
Kev
Paul
almost
George,
let go of the rope.
bro, Paul George was hooping in the first like quarter and a half, right? He was getting busy. I feel like Haywood could not stick him whatsoever. But you love that for Haywood because that's how you get better at the end of the day, right? And you know, Philly came out aggressive. Jared McCain's been hooping, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. He's from Cali, he's from Sacramento. Obviously was at Duke last year. He's been getting busy. He's clearly in that rookie of the year race right now. But my biggest thing was, bro, it's the same thing. It's been the same thing for the last 5 years, bro. When Jimmy Butler is aggressive and puts his foot on people's neck, it opens up everything for the entire offense. He had the lob from Tyler. He had, he just had early aggressive points, and that's what you want to see him do. It's too many times, especially this season, where it feels like he's just out there just floating around. You know what I'm saying? It's not even looking at the rim. And I think this game was important because, again, he just came out with a sense of urgency. And when he has a sense of urgency, it flows to everybody else. And even like Tyler took him a few quarters to get going, but he got it going. I thought Duncan struggled early. Third quarter, he got it going. You know what I'm saying? And I thought it was overall a complete game for majority of the team. Bam's still trying to find his scoring niches here and there, but for the most part, I mean, we did what we were supposed to do. We blew out a bad team. It wasn't no third quarter in this game, and they just held it down. So, it's always a good night when you can take your starters out the game early in that fourth quarter. So I thought overall it was a great team win.
Now, I got a couple things to say back to that, but I'm gonna bring this point up first because Joe, as you mentioned, Joel immediately said it felt like a big time win. But then we also look at the 76ers and what they have been in their record. But then I'm not gonna say it's somewhere in the middle. It's somewhere in the middle of you should have won it in a big time win because they did have all their pieces, even though we know Joel isn't right. Well, they didn't have Maxey, but Paul George got off to a good start. You stopped him, and you were able to overcome a 19-point deficit to not only win the game, but then return the blowout in the final, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm trying to say. In the ending, I have too many words right there. In the ending of it, you were able to return the blowout. But Kev, I'm gonna push back. And I'm gonna push back on the Jimmy Butler aggressive thing. I feel like, yes, we always want him to come out and look for his. But I also feel like it's something else you said. Everybody looked involved. And that's something that in past seasons, past years, we've struggled to always say that we saw. And that reflected in the offense, the stagnancy, how the offense bogged down. You mentioned not a bad third period. And I think that was the whole reason why they wanted to make this offense more movement based and oriented. And I think last night what you saw was Jimmy being able to sit back and see, okay, this team has slow starts. Okay, this team has sluggish third quarters. Okay, I'm seeing my spots more. Okay, this is what I need to do. And I felt like that was different because he was able to execute on those things inside of the things he hadn't understood before he got the injury. But everything else was the same. Tyler Hero taking the same types of shots, getting the same type of looks, playing free. Jimmy was just the guy he was passing to instead of Jay Rich or Terry Rozier. Duncan still feeling confident and knocking down his shots. Bam Adebayo, heck, even getting to his spots. I mean, game to game, he got to figure out that touch situation. I think it's just a keep going thing with him. And that's another situation where this 6-day layoff could help. Like it can help him get off his feet, mentally take a break, breathe for a second, and possibly regain that touch. Because as I've always said, that's a focus thing. And not that he unfocused. And you see with the free throws and the mentality on the boards and defensively, like he's starting to fully get his focus back to where he needs it to be all around. But I just think that that's another area. So I think that everything's coming together, not in the sense that they're finished, but in the sense that this is just how it's supposed to look when it's all right.
Yeah, I want to say this real quick too. I agree. And I also think to add on to that, it's much better when you go into the 6-day break that we mentioned at the start of the show with the win than a loss. You know what I'm saying? From a morale standpoint, if they would have went into that and lost this game, especially against a team that only has 2 wins on the season and November is about to be over,
sit on that.
That's like damn near depressing. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it is a big time win from that standpoint because again, like you lose this game, it's like all hell breaks loose. You win this game, you look what's going on in Philly right now. That whole ship is just sinking, right? You know what I'm saying? Completely underwater right now. So from that perspective, I definitely think, yeah, we can call this a big time win.
You got anything else there, Alex? Because I'm gonna throw a stat out there at y'all.
Nah, brother, go ahead.
So I saw this on Around the Horn, and I can't remember who it was. It was Sedano or Tinsley. And if y'all familiar with the whole is Fanosphere, you know who those guys are. Whatever. I'm trying to shout them out, give them the credit. But I think he said something like, "Yo, out of 118 teams to start off the season, something like that, 118, 128, 108, one of those derivatives, 808, 28, or 18. Only to start off 2-11, only 8 have made the playoffs that season. And of those 8, none of them have won a first round series. Like, you know, my first 3 numbers a little, you know what I mean, a little unsure. But either way, whether it's 8, 18, or 28, that's a lot of data. You can take something from that. Only 8 people have made the joint and ain't none of them won it. It's like, it's hard to think, especially with Joel not expecting to play back-to-backs. You know what I'm saying? All that situation, they're going to be that team. All right. So that takes us to the next thing from the Philly game that you notice. And I saw your eyes get kind of crazy looking when we mentioned Terry Rozier there earlier, Alex. Maybe you'll be a little bit more vocal when it comes to this topic. Terry Rozier sat out his first game of the season with a foot injury, and it's reportedly an issue that he's had for the last couple of games. And if you think back, we probably can point to when that happened, if it's real, according to some people. I think it's real. And you probably can point to the game when that happened. He was a little gimpy and limpy, trying to come back up the court, but he fought through it. Anyway, reportedly it's been something he was dealing with before last night. He just let the coaching staff know, which resulted in him missing his first game of the year. And to that point, I don't the starting lineup, what? Terry, because I missed the first minute of the game, 2 minutes of the game or whatever. I'm thinking it was Tyler, Jimmy, Duncan, Haywood, Bam, right? Okay, sound about right. For my money, and I've said it on the main pod, that's probably should have been the lineup anyway. Let's just dive right in, man. What do we think of the starting lineup for the Miami Heat last night? What you got, Kev?
I actually liked it. I think my only concern again was Duncan struggling early on, but I think that's attribute to, or I think that goes to the fact that his minutes have been very inconsistent and sporadic, you know. But I think the more he gets integrated, I think it'll benefit everybody because again, Duncan is similar to Jimmy in the fact that when he's making shots, I feel like our offense is always at its best when he's knocking down shots. You know what I'm saying? I think it showed last night in that third quarter, especially. Like, it's just something about Duncan's gravity and that off-ball movement. It makes defenses have to play super honest, and you cannot blink and let him go, because if you do, he's gonna make you pay 9 times out of 10, right? So I actually like it. I think it's something you can move forward with, and also, I mean, thinking long term, I mean, you bring in Jaime, Nico, Terry, and Alec Burks off your bench is intriguing. You know what I'm saying? That's. I'm not saying it's the most deadly bench lineup in my bad.
We're gonna get there. We're
Okay,
gonna get
my
there.
bad.
See, because
My bad.
that's
My
why
bad.
I like this thing. That's why I like
Yeah,
this thing.
my
We on
bad.
the
My
same
bad.
type time. We're gonna get there though.
You
We're
know
gonna
how I
get
be
there. We're
spiraling.
gonna get there.
But I'm reeling back in. But overall,
Right.
that 5, I mean, they got a chemistry. And I think especially these past few years in this quote unquote Jimmy era, Duncan has been one of the best pieces playing alongside Bam and Jimmy.
The
And Duncan,
linchpin.
yeah, literally. You know what I'm saying? I think with Tyler's ascension this year, it just helps out everything. And then with Haywood, again, Haywood is one of your premier defensive players on his team. So on the nights that Jimmy got to give you a little bit more offensively, you got Haywood to take the pressure off him defensively. So I think honestly, it's a great balance in that starting lineup. I think Spo and them should lean into it a lot more.
I mean, of course, I 100% agree with you because, like I said, that's how I felt before we actually got a chance to see it. To your point about Duncan, listen, because of the way Tyler Hero has altered his game, and he was always capable of being a high volume guy, 3-point. He just got to the mid range 3 games and became that I'm gonna shoot 12 threes guy every 4th game, when that's his game every night now. But him playing that style allows Duncan to have more of an effect there for him too, because now naturally, like, let's think about it. If it's a U or even like a box, you got 2 guys at either side that you worry about. You can't leave neither of them, and that does wonders for the other 3 guys. We all know that Duncan is the thing that allows Bam to play at his absolute best. And then this whole kinetic movement, everybody's always in motion style that they're trying to lean into, combined with the 3-point style, it is the personification of what Duncan Robinson is as a player. Read and react. That's what we've been encouraging him to do. Okay, you don't have to pull up for the 3 every time. Get to the cup, hit them little floaters. Actually finish the dunk attempts that you try to take from now on, but stuff like that. Look, man, I'm gonna stop. I've been purposely going long because I don't want Alex to get on here and just totally be traded Terry 3 different ways from Portland to New Mexico, back around to Utah to end up in Brooklyn somehow. Anyway, I'll let him have the floor. Alex, what's your take on the starting lineup last night?
Man, I think I mentioned it in the chat once I saw that Terry was listed as out for the game. I feel like I done seen this too many times. Like, when a lineup change is necessary with the Heat, like, somebody ends up not being able to play, so that then the next time we see them, oh, they're coming back and they're gonna come off the bench this game just to see how everything goes and just to ease them back in. So I already knew what was up. But in regard to the guys who started last game, I like the balance of the lineup. I still think is too small for the NBA at this point. Bam 6'9". The next tallest guy in the lineup was Duncan or Jimmy, both around like 6'7". I mean, yeah, like, I just think it's a little too small, but I mean, they got the job done. They're able to play above their size. Like, Jimmy can guard bigger guys and Haywood can guard bigger guys. So, I mean, they got it done in the end. Like, obviously, I said I missed most of the game, so I didn't even realize we was down 19. So, but yeah, I mean, hey, they got it done. They got a certain chemistry about them, so it's better than a Terry lineup.
Oh, that's pretty final. You got anything to say of what Alex had to say, Kev?
I mean, I just hope Terry gets it together. I don't care if it's off the bench, starting, whatever the case may be, bro. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, figure it out, bro. Your role is not that complicated for this team. And I think he's been trying to lean into being too much of like a natural floor general point guard. Just hoop, bro. They brought you in here to score. You got playmakers. Jimmy and Bam are already big-time playmakers. Tyler's an underrated playmaker from an assist standpoint. So, to me, that's why I was high on Terry going to this year, because your role is not too much different than what it was in Charlotte. The only difference is you're gonna be playing for a team that's actually competitive and trying to win games. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope bro figures it out at this point.
Interestingly enough, so that's a good way to transition, Kev. But I'm gonna say something to a point, and I knew where Alex was going, and I don't necessarily disagree with him. When it comes to the size and the starting lineup, what I will point to that this year that they haven't had in previous years, and the quality, whatever, and I can fight back on that too. They actually have real depth and real size. Okay, Nico needs to get more physical and bigger, but 6'10", 6'11 is still 6'10", 6'11. He's a barrier at the very least. So he's going to be in court. Of course, he's playing. Kellel, we talked about this. He's playing, not as much as we would have him play night to night. But as I think I kind of hit on that too, like for the first 20 or so games, you're going to see him get his 10, 15 minutes, but he's going to play. Spo's playing him way faster than any other rookie. So I think that just hints at his role only increasing as needed. Kevin Love showed you what he could do. And I think he had 15 and 8 in like 12 minutes the other night. Yeah. Crazy. So again, you're not relying on him for 20, 25, 30 minutes, but when you need it, I think they have quality depth and size, and that'll be matchup dependent. But I feel like with Hayward's defensive ability, and as you mentioned, Kev, Jimmy's ability to still be able to guard up, I think they'll be able to go to some things matchup wise when they need to fight back against that size. While I agree with you, Alex, it's going to be something that Spo is going to have to continuously from minute to minute, game to game, be aware of and go to his stuff and not forget, hey, I got some big dudes this year. It's something because of the way that they want to play offensively as well, that it's probably going to be a game-to-game thing. And we have the pieces to counter it this year, whereas in previous years, it's kind of been like, oh, ain't nothing but a bunch of little dudes. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody bigger than him. But, okay, you don't like Thomas Bryant, but you still got him. Kevin Love, as I mentioned, he's a little older, but you can throw him in there. Kellel Young, but you can throw him in there. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, Nico got size. Jaime play a little bigger than he is. He got a lot of that Jimmy to him. So I think there are just options there when it comes to that thing. Now, this is what we've all tried to stay away from, and I appreciate you guys for working with me. But we're going to get here. The rotation in general. That brings up everything that I was just speaking about. That brings up Terry's role. That brings up what we want for Terry. I think we all want to see the best for Terry. I think Alex is eager to get another big time score in here, and Terry seems to be the sacrificial lamb with his money, his situation, and his production thus far. So it's easy to say that, and I don't necessarily always disagree with him if there's a deal that makes sense. And I think we had that conversation offline or off the pod about the Brooklyn situation. We're gonna leave it there. But because I don't necessarily saying I want that to materialize, because I too, like you said, Kev, want Terry to get it together. Now, to your point of him leaning into that distributor role, being that pure, not gonna say pure point guard, because that ain't what he is. He's a combo guard, but being more of a point guard for this team, making plays for everybody else, falling back and letting everybody else do their thing and trying to hit his shots. I feel like that has reared his head uglily, like real ugly this season. And I noted that too when I said he looks so unsure of himself. When in past seasons, Terry Rozier has been irrationally confident. Like, I mean, he'll step you back from like 4 feet. And I'm like, yo, Terry, swag up. And he make it. And he's done it against the Heat. So I'm not making this up. Like, we've seen it. So I think that 6-man role would allow him to get back to a more free role. I think it'll be ideal. Alex actually laid out the script. And as he was saying, of course, I never think of these, things, even though I know him until you guys say him, but you laid it out. He got a little bug. Oh, now he's trying to come back and work himself back. Oh, we're not going to mess up the chemistry of the lineup. You know what? We like this. We're going to rock with this for a little while because we know we can always go back to that. And then before you know, that's just what the situation is. But I think that's good for Terry because that allow him to get back to more of those situations like he was in with Charlotte, just being the guy out there. But then also, he's playing against a lower quality of player. Not that he can't play against the best quality player. I'm just stating the obvious. On the rotation, you also mentioned Alec Burks, Kev. I think he has to play. Alec Burks has absolutely proven he's been patient enough. Of course, he ain't never been no rah-rah guy because the only thing keeping Alec Burks from having been a starter 15, 18, okay, you might say 20-point guy in this league has been health. Everywhere he's been in a limited time, he's produced. And he came in as a, lottery-ish pick, 15, 16, 17, I want to say out of Colorado, because he could score with size. He was a lead guard type. He has to play. So those are my things rotation-wise. I think we've kind of hit on the rest of it. We're going to get into the whole how would you guys deploy the rest of it as we progress throughout this small conversation. But what do you got on the rest of the rotation wise, Alex?
So I mean, I think you hit on a couple of things, man. Like Alec Burks has to. I think he has to honestly get the minutes that Jay Rich has been getting, because Jay Rich, obviously, he has history with us. Rook one,
It hurt
and
too, man. It hurt.
I'm
It hurt.
like,
It hurt.
and he was before he got injured last year, he was playing well, but now coming back, like it's like Spo has been trying to force feed him to find a rhythm, and it just hasn't worked out. So I think that Alec Burks, obviously, you can see from last night, like he's always going to just be a veteran presence, going to keep himself ready. And I mean, he been spraying that junk. Like other than I think he shot 1 for 6 from three. If our box score watched last night, I'm pretty sure that he's like leading the freaking league in 3-point percentage so far.
Top
So you
two or
got
three, I want to say.
yeah, like you got to leave that joker out there and let him be a flamethrower like my boy Wayne Ellington used to be back in the day. Um, I think a bench lineup of a Terry, Alec Burks, freaking Jaime, and then obviously you could throw Nico or K Love, like a lineup like that. Like they could get busy on some benches, man. Like Terry, all you got to worry about, you ain't got to worry about, all right, where's Bam? Where's Tyler? You just got to be Terry. You could literally be scary Terry. Bro, what? Like that's what we need. Like if we not going to go get another I can average 25 type guy, we need somebody who literally was Tyler in 2022, where I could come off the bench and fry everybody that you got on your bench, and you have nothing you can do about it. That's exactly what we need. So I think it's going to help us in the long run.
I mean, you mentioned it, man, and you mentioned Alec Burks' 3-point prowess, but it's like he showed you last night in Philly. And I know you didn't watch the game, so I'm not, trying to whatever. I'm just bringing it to the table. He showed you last night that he could still absolutely get to the cup and finish when you need him to too. So it's the multi-level game, and I know we not looking at it from a 3-level perspective because we're trying to shy away from the middies. But the boy got a 3-level offensive game. Let's just be honest. Hey, he can stop up and hit that little midi if he need to too. But no, I just think he adds necessary punch. And like you mentioned about Terry, those two guys, when you think about Kevin Love, his ability to knock down the shot, still get mad boards in a compact amount of time, and then you bring in, because you're going to get that compact amount of time from Kevin Love, you can then bring in Kellel for 5-6 minutes in a spurt. Bring in Thomas Bryant, let him be reckless and knock somebody out for 3 minutes. Get back on the pine. Like you could do that with that second unit, all while allowing Terry and Alec Burks to manipulate that. And like you said, you got guys like Jaime, you got guys like Pell, you got guys like, I'm sure Keyshawn gonna get some time. Allowing those guys to play with those type of energy guys, do it, utility guys off of that bench. I mean, look, man, you talking about a Miami Heat team that, even though they've had their lumps, quietly one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. Quietly one of the best teams when it comes to turnovers. Weren't that good last night early, but once they cleaned that up, we saw how once they got back to more themselves, they end up winning by 20. We're talking about a Miami Heat team that has a lot of good things going, and we can see what's happening because there's a lot. And as I've been preaching and begging you guys, like, hold on to the rope, like real talk, there's a lot of nutrients below the surface, and I think Spo is digging deep. And I noted this too. I ain't really make a big deal of it, but I said that whole Detroit thing was going to be good for Spo. Because if Spo, like, look, Spo, you can't be lacking. Like, you ain't got no excuses no more. Like, we seen it. Like, you still our guy, Spo. Like, we know who you are, what you are, whatever. This ain't that. We're not questioning you. But this year, in this moment, after we watch that happen, oh, nah, Spo, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be sharp. I would dare to say that maybe even Pat Rapp was like, all right now. Hey. If Rob used the N-word, he called Spo. He was like, I know. But
real quick to that, because we haven't spoke on that real quick. I just want to say I'm not mad at Spo for that, because I think it's just like a natural reaction for a coach. You know what I'm saying?
Facts,
in a situation like that, like anytime
he was in a Spo temper tantrum.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like anytime another team hits like a big time bucket in crunch time, that's Spo's first reaction, bro. He gonna walk into the court, call timeout. So I think it was just like second nature. but he didn't realize how many timeouts he had left. And obviously in that situation, we had none. So I just want to say that like, I'm not killing Spo for that, bro. Players mess up
No,
sometimes too.
I'm not. Players do mess up. Like you exactly. And he said that they had just talked about it in the timeout. So it just happened. It was emotional reaction thing. Coach Alex, give us a take on Spo. I mean, are you grabbing your head, coach? Are you like get your in that moment?
I mean, my job is to make sure that I know that he knows how many timeouts that we have. So with that being said, I know for a fact that somebody on that staff literally let him know beforehand, yo, we don't have any timeouts left, so we just gonna have to play. But like you and Kev are saying, he basically like how bad the coverage was. He blanked in that moment and just walked onto the court, which we have seen for 17 years. Like that something going on, the other team go on a run. All you got to do, they hit that last shot. You just look over to the corner, Spo walking on that court.
Oh, you know what time it is.
The refs know already what's up. They all right, boom, timeout, Miami. So, like
hand on his hips, head down, rubbing his head, walking to the middle of the court.
Yeah,
they said 3 cuss words.
I said, yeah, the only time he looked different calling the timeout is if he calling the timeout to challenge something. And so then he'll like be looking at the bench. Then once he realized he want to challenge it, then he'll walk over to the ref and he be standing there and talking to the ref like this. And you got to be better than that. And I shouldn't have to challenge it. Like he get that finger out and then it be over. But yeah, man, I just think he blinked for a second. Honestly,
I love Spoisms.
Yeah, like we shouldn't even been in that position versus the Pistons, but it is what it is. And I think I texted the chat at one point during that game, and I was like, I don't think I've ever said this in my life, but thank God for Tyler Hero, because Tyler, he had 6 threes in the fourth quarter of that game. Cooking, boy, he was cooking.
I mean, but see, I think that he had another one of those moments. What was the game? Indy. He did the same thing kind of in Indiana. Game before last. Now, defense.
The second one or the first one?
Second one.
Okay.
Remember, we was down like 9 going late. Tyler Hero brought it to within 2. Couldn't stop Benedict Mathurin or Tyrese Halliburton from both nailing threes on back-to-back possessions. Those are same thing happened in Phoenix where you had KD hit a 3. Then you had Bill hit a 3 from the right deep side wing. Then you had excuse me, I got ESPN going in the background. I'm gonna mute that, fellas. Then you had Booker hit a 3 from the left corner. It was that back-to-back 3. And like it, just clean up those things. And they seem big in the moment because they are. But if like you just keep one of those threes from going down, you know what I'm saying? In those moments, you give yourself a better chance to win. But yeah, man, I'm gonna throw you a lob right here. Alex, this is for you. The whole reason Spo is that mad to call the timeout he didn't have is because Terry Rozier don't know what defense we in. Now, I still contend, if you're a big-time defensive player, at the very least, you got to make him make the free throws. So if you bam, you got to fight through that and foul him hard enough not to be able to dunk it like that. But after watching it, I would say that if Terry was a little less confused, that probably could have been prevented. And he was confused from the very beginning of the play. You saw that. So, again, but we want T-Row. This ain't no poo-poo on Terry session, even for Alex. But, we want T-Row to be a little bit better. We want him to do his thing, but we just think that'll be from the second unit. And remind you, when we say we want you to be the 6 for the Miami Heat, unless Alec Burks continue to cook like he cooked, then y'all gonna have to split it. It ain't gonna be 25-30, might be 22, 24, 26 apiece, whatever. But you're still getting a pretty good to starters allotment amount of minutes off the bench. So we still want to see the best for him. Anything else on the rotation, guys, before we move on? Oh man, we moving right along here. I like the flow. We've talked a little bit about it, but I'm gonna give y'all a couple seconds to give a take on it. And I got an overall take on it. And again, I think he'll be fine. I'm gonna bring up a stat and it kind of reflects my overall point on the guy. But when it comes to 13, man, Bam Adebayo overall, 1 through 10. I'm gonna let you guys rate his performance, and then I'm gonna let you both give a little commentary on it, and then sum up how you're feeling again, a 6-way through the season on the guy. Alex, you go first, brother.
On his performance on the game or for the season?
For the season so far, 1 through 10. How you feeling about Bam?
Season so far, my boy has been a solid 5. Literally, specifically, perfectly mid.
That was well articulated, actually. Not that I expected it not to be, but I won't ready. All right. A little commentary, man. Why has he just been mid? A 5. I mean, perfectly explained, by the way. I just want you to tell the people a little bit more.
I mean, because of the fact that, like, going into this year, everybody's thinking, all right, Bam, especially in the preseason, he's showing us the bag. Like, he being aggressive. This joker shooting and hitting multiple threes in games. Like, he looked comfortable. Like this is he's made little jumps. This is the, hey, yo, I'm about to reach my final form type band. Like we be seeing that little jump on Twitter where it's like Bam shooting a fadeaway, and then you got like Kevin Garnett's ghost beside him. Like, you was gonna see, like, this was modern day Kevin Garnett loading. And then we done had some games where he can't hit this broadside of a bar. I mean, I know last night he had 5 and 13. Well, yeah, 13 boards, which, I mean, I'll take the rebounds, but it's like, dog, like, you can't get 10 no more. Like even on bad games, he used to consistently get at least like 12 points. And we was like, yeah, Bam just won't hear today. But, like, he's had a bunch of games where you looking like, yo, what is he doing? Like, and then we had those few games where we're looking like, all right, that's what I thought you would look like. But you got to be able to do it against the bad teams and the good teams. That's why I said, yo, he's mid.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that. I'm not gonna contest that. It's very well explained. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, before Alex even went, the first thing that hit my mind was 5. Like, 5 was the first number that popped up. And I'll say it because it's a few different angles to this, right? I think the first one is coming off the Olympics, right? He was one of the key contributors, and we've seen him do some things that we hadn't really seen him do in the Heat jersey, right? At the same time, as we all know, obviously when you're playing for a stacked team like Team USA, your roles are going to be completely different, right? Like, he was just out there to go guard some of the other best players while also just being free. You know what I'm saying? You're playing alongside Bron, Curry, KD, amongst others. So the roles are different. On this, for the Heat, he's like Mr. Do-It-All. You know what I'm saying? He got to get the shooters open spots. He's setting screens. He's rolling. He's doing way more, right? So you can't ask, you can, and we want him to, but you can't ask everything out of him offensively like they could for Team USA. So you had those expectations, right? On top of, he was hitting threes in the preseason. Now he hasn't been hitting threes like that. So it's a few different ways to go about it. But I give him a 5 just because I just think it's a slump, and players have those all the time. It's not anything new. We've seen great all-time greats have them plenty of different times. But for him, to me, my biggest thing was going into season, just because you can take threes doesn't mean you need to be taking threes. And I think early on, the first few games, he was just settling way too much. And let's be honest, his mid-range has come a long way and has gotten better, but you haven't fully mastered that. So my thing would be, if I'm one of the coaches, I want you to, all great shooters, you go ask any great shooter, let's say, I started off in and I worked my way out. Steve Nash, Ray Allen, that was all their things. Curry, I don't know. He's generational though, obviously. But for
different.
Bam,
He like James Harden said, he don't count.
Exactly. Literally. Exactly. So for Bam, I want him to, again, bro, establish your dominance in the paint sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You're 6'9", 6'10", whatever. You're a strong body. Most dudes can't guard you down there. And then get to your mid-range shot. Last night, he had that behind the back step back on Embiid. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more of that too. You know what I'm saying? Keep going at that first and then eventually work your way out and take the right threes. I think some of the threes, it was frustrating me because it wasn't in the flow of things, It just felt like he just put it up just to put it up. If he's taking in the flow of the offense, I don't mind that whatsoever. Like, that's fine with me. That's good basketball. It's a quality shot. But when you're just trying to force it, you haven't even gotten really right with the set shot. So why are you just trying to take the shot just to take the shot? That's always been my thing. And that goes for all basketball players as a whole, not just Bam. So I don't want to make sense I'm just going at Bam because that's not the case. But we all have high expectations for Bam. I'm completely 100% sure he is going to work his way out of this slump. It's just all about playing, bro. You just got to play through it, no matter what the case is. And we all know he's an Iron Man. He don't really miss games like that. If he does, it's a rare occurrence. So I'm gonna give him a 5 just because, again, I don't think the defense has been on par either like that. But that's another thing I never worry about with Bam. But overall, again, I'm very positive he's gonna figure this all out.
So y'all talking me down. I was gonna get him a 7, but y'all talked me down to a 6, and I'm gonna say that. You're right. The defense is. I can explain it all. Focus, and I'm not gonna go with the low hanging fruit. Everybody be like, "I took it." No, but I do think publicly being in love, I think that has messed up. You know what I'm saying? That it's a focus thing. I mean, everybody knowing his business, it got a little something to do with it. Because when you look at the touch, when you look at the hands, when like his shaky passage, shaky catching the rock, when you look at like you said, Kev, the defensive lapses that he traditionally hasn't had, all of those things are focus based. And the only thing I can think of is the attention that he's been getting for different things. And you could say the Olympics, but he's been playing the Olympics for years now. The only thing you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say that's all it, but it got a little something to do. Boy, lock in, get focused. You out here, you know what I'm saying, making public appearances, showing up to WNBA games. Hold on, Alex, let me preach. You out here, got her front row at the, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She with your mama. We know what time it is. You happy and stuff. We love that you happy. But lock in. It's now time to come out here and be Bam. And I think all of that is focus based. But to that point, I have seen him make the small adjustments. Like in the first couple of games, we know rebounding, finishing possessions killed us. But ever since that Detroit game, it was very noticeable. He never quit. Like he was trying to get back to get into that offensive motion early on. But since that Detroit game, you've seen him, even if it's just him alone, he never gives up on a rebound possession. Like if it's taking 2-3 guys to hold in to box him out, he's fighting. I've seen him make that adjustment there. Offensively, I've seen him try to get to the other stuff. With the 3-point shot, if his feet are somewhat square and he's balanced, he makes the shot 9 out of 10 times. So I think that's another focus thing. I agree with you. Take more shots inside the Florida offense, but I don't mind the 3. Like you said, play inside out. Bam is never really going to be give me the rock, let me pound, drop step, dunk on you guy. He's an athletic guy that knows how to use his dribble and his strength to get to spots. But I think all of that is conducive to working in tandem. It's like, okay, if he make a 3 in the Florida offense, then you're going to have to run out on him. Okay, he's skilled enough to do the thing we've seen him do quite a bit this year that we hadn't really seen previous to this year. We knew he had the ability. It might happen once every 15, 20 games. But already in the 13 games, we've seen him pump full from the 3-point line, drive in and bang that thing 4 or 5 times. And that's because people are giving him that respect from the opening up his game. So I feel like it just all has to come together. And that's why I was going to give him a 7 because I see some of it. But it's a focus thing. He even the free throws, the adjustments are there. But y'all talk me down because y'all make sense. I'm going to give him a 6. Alex, you wanted to say something as I was mentioning the focus and the publicity of his relationship?
So nah, but I just typed in the stream chat that I was finally watching the highlights of the Heat game, and I was sitting here and I was like looking at just how they was working us, and then they showed a picture of us. They showed Spo after we gave up a bucket, and my boy is stressed.
He going through it, man.
Yo, he was looking like, bro. He was looking like, what the heck am I gonna do? What are they do? Like he looked like he ain't had no answers. And I'm sitting like, obviously, like I keep saying, like I was coaching my own game at the time. So if I'd have been sitting there and my team was playing bad at certain points in the game, then I seen the score of the Heat game and we was getting whooped, I would have been distraught. So
but I'm gonna tell you,
I caught that jump when I caught it.
I can answer the question for you though. Like he had Spo always somewhat had something to go to. I know exactly what he was befuddled at right there. The Miami Heat, who averaged like 10 turnovers a game this year, they already had 10 at that point. And that was like early in the second quarter. Well, like midway through the second quarter. That's what his head was behind. He's like, yo.
That's exactly when that was.
He's like, yo. Like, what's up? And Tyler Hero had, two early back to back that was just, ugh. Now, like I said, his big, what was it, third or fourth? Third. Anyway, the period that Tyler went off totally made up for it. Totally. And that's what you like to see from Tyler.
It was a third.
That's different this year, too. Tyler's ability to respond in the moment. Like, that's different. You love to see that from that guy. Anyway, we're not going to do this because we did that on the main pod. But if y'all want to have a word on those particular situations as we move away from the Bam Brands, I think we all confident he's going to get right. But, we just want to see more from the boy because we expect more. What you got, Kev?
Yeah, I just want to add real quickly that to finish off my point, I know the NBA is going to this 5-out thing and it's all nice and whatever, which is perfectly fine to me. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, having a big man that could be a shooter is more of a luxury than a necessity. It's nice to have, it's great to have, but again, I don't think that's how you maximize Bam's talent necessarily. In certain instances, of course, like you said, Kay, like let that thing fly, bro. Keep defenses honest, but also again, get in there and make dudes feel you. You know what I'm saying? Use your physicality to your levers. That's how he got to the NBA. I watched him when he was in high school, college. It's been the same thing. So again, I'm not worried about him whatsoever. I just want him to, as an offensive player, let things flow more naturally. Don't force it just because you feel like you're the guy and the max contract player. All that's going to settle itself out. You know what I'm saying? You just being you is more than enough for this team. So if he listening to this, bro, just stay and keep trusting the course, bro.
And hold up, to jump off of what Kev just said, like, and it's with any type of basketball. You got to have the correct players to be able to do that. Like, honestly, Jimmy and Bam aren't 5-out guys. Like, they're not, this guy just cut and I'm going to just get in my bag in this space and go to work. Jimmy and Bam is a mid-range scorer, a basket scorer. Jimmy is a bully. Like, he's a mid-range bully scorer. Like, they're not 5-out guys, but I mean, hey, we done leaned into it, so hopefully it continues to work out as the season continues to go on. They find their spots are better.
I love it when it happens this way. I think you both said exactly what needed to be said because you're right, Kev. It has to come in the flow. But I think that has to happen to the point that what you're saying, Alex, naturally, they are not 5-out guys, even though they're both skilled enough to be. What has to happen is Bam has to keep the defense honest, as Kev was saying, enough that Jimmy still has the space to go and be that bully, which will only perpetuate the motion. Or in those moments where we're like, forget this motion, let's go to our bread and butter to get a bucket. Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, okay, Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think all of that plays hand in hand. So, no, I love it when it happens that way. Look, man, this is how we're going to close the show from now on. But two major takes right now, two major takes. You could give me one major Heat take, one general NBA take, and then we're going to get on up out of here. Alex, give me your Heat take first. What's your major Heat take a sixth of the way through the season?
My major Heat take, honestly, is I think that they're like, obviously, I would love for them to make a move, but I don't think they're going to make a move. Like, I think they're locked in to figuring out what they can with this group. Like,
so you think that you think this is the group?
I give it. I say I give it. What? How many games are we in? Like 12?
13.
Okay, so they say 20 game mark. Because do y'all think we're gonna be over 500 at 20 games in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like if we are over 520 games in, then they're not gonna make a move, and they're just gonna be like, "Hey, yo, this is what we rolling with. We're gonna figure this out." But if we're under 500, they'll be more inclined to make a move. That's my Heat take, I think.
Fair enough. What you got, Kev? Your Heat take.
We are still the cream of the crop in the Eastern Conference. When you look around, I know it sounds crazy right now. Just listen to me. Just hold on. Just listen to me. The Milwaukee Bucks are in a state of tragedy right now. The Philadelphia 76ers are even further worse off than them. The Cavaliers definitely look like they've been much improved. Of course, they have yet to lose at this point as we're speaking right now on November the 19th. Could change if some of y'all hear this when they play Boston tonight. But in the playoff series, I'll be honest, I'm still not fully concerned with them. If I'm just being honest with you guys, I think they got to get, they weight up a little bit more. I think they got to get, they got to take a few more punches to the chest, shall I say. Orlando, unfortunately, obviously, Paolo got hurt a couple weeks ago, so they kind of been just whatever. But even them, I just don't see it in the playoffs right now because I think they still, like Cleveland, got to take their licks. You know what I'm saying? So to me, as I said, going into this season, I still think we're right there in the mix, y'all. And again, I know it sounds crazy. We've had some tough losses. We had that, Pistons loss. We had that second loss to the Pacers the other night. I know. Trust me and believe me. I know. But again, in a playoff format in the Eastern Conference right now, the only team that will concern me is them boys up there in Beantown that wear green, that ugly green. Anybody else? I'm with Bam and Jimmy, and the way that Tyler's playing, hopefully it translates, and we still got to see it, but I'm not worried about nobody else. I'm just being honest with y'all. I know it, and again, people were talking about the Knicks and the Sixers. Even myself, I thought the Bucks would be improved, but those teams are not threats. The Knicks maybe could end up being, a threat. I still got to see it. I don't really trust Cat in the playoffs myself, but I got to see it. But I'm telling y'all right now, bro, I know it's murky right now. It's kind of ugly. Some people don't want to hear this, but the Heat are still in the thick of things in the Eastern Conference, and that's where I'll land my plane.
I mean, Kev stole my thunder. I won't quite gonna say it as adamantly, but I like what I'm saying. I think I said it before the season too. My Heat take is the rest of the East don't impress me, and Boston ain't unfallible. Their path, and I told y'all this in the group chat. They're a good team. They were the champions. They should be respected. They're the best team in the East right now. Maybe the best team in the league, whatever. But at the end of the day, they weren't one of the better teams that won the title in the last 10 years. And that's not taking anything away from them. That's just saying they weren't this all-world team that can't be beat. And I think we're closer to them than they're further away from us than everybody else want to say. And I think that leans into my overall NBA take, which can be Heat-related or it doesn't have to be, but I'm going to get it started there. Look, man, it's wide open. That East is wide open. Kev said it all. Cleveland, you got to show me it's real. Orlando, you got to show me that it's real. And you got to get Paolo back and integrated. And you got to get back on that same type of momentum you was on the start of the season before you got hurt. I mean, you got Detroit bubbling up. You got Milwaukee and Philly at the bottom. You got, Indiana beating us. Miles Turner looking all world, then can't get on the floor the next night, and them going up there getting mud stomped by Toronto. Like, this thing is wide open, man. Like, I'm telling you, like the Miami Heat, I like what I'm saying. And this ain't just been from, I'm optimistic, the Miami Heat, they could be. No, it's about how I see them matching up once the things that are working well for them start to work well for them on a consistent basis, which will because of the guys on that floor and because Spo is running it all. Like, they have the pieces, and that's something I've hit on, like, a lot. It's different when you don't have the pieces. And in years past, the pieces ain't all been there. They have the pieces now. It's about figuring it out. So your overall NBA take, Alex, what you got? You probably had to get yourself up off the floor for what man Kev did say. I'm sorry. It took him a minute to get himself up off the floor, Kev.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, I was sitting here, I had to go look at the standings in the East and everything. Like, I had to figure out what y'all was seeing. Okay.
We should be 9-13. We should be 9-4, man. I know woulda, coulda, shoulda, grenades and horseshoes, but we should be 9-4.
Okay, like, in regard to what I'm exactly looking at in the standings, I think the Heat should end up 5, which is out of the play-in, which is cool with me. I think they're gonna end up 5.
Who are the 4 teams? Who are the 4 teams gonna finish ahead of the Heat in the East?
Cleveland, Boston,
the Magic, and the Knicks.
That's fair.
No, the Magic's ain't gonna be able to climb up out of this hole, and I don't think they'll be able to find that
They're
Magic.
9-6. They're on a 6-game win streak. Okay.
What I'm telling you is they're gonna be worse without Paolo, though, right?
But they're on a 6-game win streak without Paolo.
And they're holding teams below 89 points a game. Do you think they're going to continue to be able to do that?
Possibly.
I don't. Boy, I almost said it. You don't believe that? Not in this NBA.
They
don't believe
they were an elite defense last year already.
I feel you, but 89 a game, Alex.
Okay, not exactly.
The
89,
damn gonna break
they
at some point.
I was not 89 per
It's
se,
the
but they're still gonna
Magic,
be able
dog.
to defend.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I'm gonna give you a basketball knowledge. You're spitting facts, but I'm just saying, man, psyche wise, Penny and Shaq ain't walking through them doors, man. And I'm just saying, we gotta see it. They gotta do it for us to believe that it's true. But I feel you. You're right. Right now, you're right. Let me fall back, boy.
I ain't gonna lie. Kev, you go. Kev, what's your
He said Orlando. Yeah, Orlando.
Bro, chill. I understand. He is. Alex is right. I agree with what you're saying.
Me
Katie.
too. Factually, he is. But the fact that okay, if we having this conversation in January, February, and we've seen 4 months of it, I'm like, cool. All right, I can't say nothing. But come on, dog. You're not gonna put Walt Disney in front of me.
I just think the difference is, bro. I was gonna say that C word about the Magic, but I can't use it with them. But I think there is a foundation that has been laid down there with Jamal Mosley and with the rest of that core, Anthony Blackman hooping, Jalen Suggs been hooping, that they can kind of survive this, you know. So I'm not saying like you said, I don't think they're gonna be able to continue to hold opponents to 89 points per game, but it's not out of the realm of possibility either. You know what I'm saying? That defense is real, and it's Paulo is a part of it, but he ain't the main part of it. So I think that could be interesting. But my overall take though, go ahead.
I'm because I want to get a little bit back to the Orlando thing because we touched on something, man, and we're not gonna spend no time on this because this go all day. But Paulo was the best scorer. How long? And we know Franz is inconsistent. So along with that defensive part, is Franz going to continue to be able to score enough to make up for the fall offs? And that I don't know.
Okay, and then before I get into my take, I just got to say, Franz inconsistency last year, took place in the playoffs, not the regular season, right?
But see, you just looking at last season. Franz has consistently, historically been an inconsistent guy. He'll go 2 games and give you 25, 30. Then he'll go game and give you 7 or 8. I bet degeneratively, believe me, I know. I didn't cuss Franz out many a night.
That's fair. Go ahead, Alex.
Dog, I needed 2 points, rebounds, or assists. I needed 2. You needed 31. You got me 28. You just scored 40. What's up, dog? Like,
hey, chill.
Many a night, bro.
Go ahead, Alex. Say what you about to say.
Nothing. I was just gonna say, like, they got the Orlando Magic basically have the size within their starting lineup to almost switch everything.
Yeah,
but that was all I was gonna say. And
Agreed. If you want to look at anything, it would be their league. Go ahead, bro. I'm being honest about Franz. If you want to look at anything, it would be the guard. Even though Suggs been balling, but that would be the smallest. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else got the size to switch absolutely everything.
All right. So my take generally for the NBA is honestly kind of just going off of what Kay said, but I'm gonna stick with the entire National Basketball Association. Everybody went into this season like they have for the past few seasons, saying that the West is so much better than the East. And I think it has a little bit more depth, in my opinion. But when we're talking about championship contending teams, let's really talk about it. The Nuggets don't look as good as they were when they beat us a few years ago in the finals. The Timberwolves have a lot of adjusting to do after that Karl Anthony Towns trade. The Suns look like they might be putting it together. We'll see. KD just got hurt, so I hope they can put some things together. OKC, I mean, let's be honest, as good as they've been, as down as they've been these past few years, I mean, last year, I'm not going to say they flamed out in the playoffs, but again, they're like the Cavs and the Magic. They still got to take those licks. You know what I'm saying? So I think in the West is just as wide open as the East. I wouldn't be surprised if a few teams snuck up in there and made some things shake. Now, me personally, I still believe in the Dallas Mavericks just because you have Luka and Kyrie, and I think those guys can outweigh any other weakness in the West. But, I mean, again, it just bothers me because I hear all these people always talking about, oh, the West is so much better than the East, and I just have to wholeheartedly disagree. I think it's a little bit more depth at that bottom because I think the Blazers look a little bit better. I think Sacramento's gotten a lot better, and it's a few other teams. The Rockets look better, but in the East too, like Toronto's.
I just think the West got off to a better start.
Yeah, and I mean, the Bulls kind of look solid. Zach LaVine been kind of hooping this year. You know what I'm saying? The Raptors, I don't really like them personally, but I mean, I think RJ Barrett damn near had 40 last night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so he's been balling. I don't,
Yeah, I've never been a fan of his, but you know, I always salute when I got to salute. So to me, I think
I hate to do this, but even to your point, Kev, the Hawks beat the Kings last night. Trae Young had like 20 dimes
and like 6 points. You know what I'm saying? I watched that game. It came down to the end. Dyson Daniels made a big time play. You know,
he been balling this year too. He been balling this year.
That was a great trade in that DeJounte Murray trade. I think they both evened out for him. But again, my overall point is that the NBA is wide open, bro. The NBA is wide
that's a take.
Open.
That's a take.
Again, don't just believe the hype that it's just the East. You know, and again, I'm not going that case point because I agree. But I'm just saying in the West too, like the West.
Well, no, I agree with you. Yeah. So you ain't gotta. No,
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just clarifying. I ain't trying to. You know, I ain't trying to go at you.
I feel you.
I'm just saying, man. Like that's why it's like
I bet Denver because I bet Denver tonight because they are not favored and they playing Memphis. Is Ja back on the floor yet?
I think he's hurt. I could be wrong.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you mean to tell me Ja not playing and Denver is an underdog to Memphis?
He might be playing though. I could be wrong there.
Ja's out, but the reason that Denver is the underdog is
the Joker's not playing. Yeah.
Oh, Jokic is out too.
Yeah, he's out.
Okay, cool. All right, I was just making sure I won't trip him. You know what I mean?
No, I seen that a couple hours ago actually. I don't know why I forgot about it. But again, just to land my plane for the Heat in particular, if they can start to, because like Kay's been saying, like Alex been saying, the process. Let me not say that. The formula is working. It's the final solution that still needs to get figured out. You got to add some ingredients and sprinkle them in there for the Heat. And I think once they start to do that between now and somewhere around the new year, maybe even a little after that, the Heat can get right back into the thick of this because not just the East, but the entire NBA is for the taking. And that's where I'll end my statement right there.
I got you. Anything else from any of you guys? Any other comments, concerns? Well, yeah, man. Great episode, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Follow Alex at Coach Lewis 1. Kev, if you on social media this week, let them know where to follow you at.
Yeah, I'm on social media, man. It's at Kev Luke the Great. The spelled with the A and not an E at the end. But everything else is spelled exactly how it sounds. KEVLUKETHAGREAT.
Absolutely, man. Follow the main pod. Follow me at K_said_K. Yeah, man. We thank you for lending your ear to this sound. This has been the Biscayne Breakdown, and we out.
Now pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean, nigga on.